Hey, how's it going? I was going to start talking about this stuff just on an audio clip for you so you could just listen. And then I decided that I think it would be better to even just have me right here, just so you have somebody to look at when we start to dig into this stuff, because a lot of it can be overwhelming sometimes. And it can be really great to have somebody to just like focus your energy on. So we're hanging out here. Come sit down, relax with me. We're going to have a conversation and just dig deep into really what vulnerability is. Like, I don't want to sit here and bore you with a big long presentation about anything or overload you with anything, but I'm just going to teach you some basic concepts that really help you understand yourself on a very different level. So, again, just recorded the video part just so like you need something to look at. Hey, how's it going? But don't mind if my eyes just start to wander, as this is just really just conversation. Like I'm just hanging out, like I'm sitting in my sweats, we're hanging out here. And this is just something I had to add to this beautiful course. So vulnerability. If any of you follow me often or not, but I like to dig into emotional intelligence and understanding the brain and why we do what we do. And Brene Brown is great. She does a few TED Talks I highly recommend. She talks a lot about the study of vulnerability. And she's done all these studies and this and that, but this is where I've grown a lot of my knowledge from. So I had to give her some credit there. Absolutely, because credit where credit's due. But when we talk about vulnerability, it is the most clear way to truly connect with somebody. And I mean connect. It's the reason we're here. I would go as like super and far depth to argue that connection is one of our most primal instincts. And people will say, well, you don't need to connect to live. We have four elements, right? We have water, air, food, so earth, and fire. And we need air to breathe, water to drink. We need earth, food to live, but we don't need fire to live, right? It's not a quote unquote necessity, but I would argue the opposite. I would argue that fire being our passion and our will and our wanting to create and connection will override all of our other instincts. It's like when somebody is going through a grief period and somebody who has died, we tend not to eat. When we're overly stressed, either we won't eat or we'll binge eat and we'll be emotionally out of control. It will completely override our basic instincts to survive, like eating and sleeping. So wanting to connect and wanting to feel seen and connected is such a natural human thing to want, and there's nothing wrong with that. So don't allow anyone to ever shame you for wanting to feel or connect. But we're going to dive deep into feeling a connection with yourself, because deep into vulnerability, we have the potential to truly feel seen and connected, like love and joy. That is where it all blooms in vulnerability. But there is the opposite. We live in a duality universe. So we have the shame, the fear, the disconnection, the yin to the yang. So when we have seen, we have shame, love, shame. It's a fighting process, because shame, by definition, is the fear of disconnection. So if you want to connect, the opposite is shame, the fear of disconnection. And this is where the lack of self-worth and all of those beliefs come up. The I'm not blank enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not healthy enough. We will keep things from people in a fear of disconnection or shame. So I don't want to tell so-and-so that one thing because maybe I have a fear that maybe they won't want to hang out with me, or they will not want to be connected to me anymore. They want to break up with me, whatever it is. So we would keep things hidden and not truly be vulnerable because we are a fear of getting rejected and feeling shame, which is natural and normal. But with vulnerability, having shame and fear and connection, we also have love, joy, and creativity. When you're truly vulnerable, when you've truly opened up and you are seen, that is where joy, love, and creativity truly live. It's the birthplace of those things. But we live in a society where we numb our pain and our feelings. See, when we go to numb, like, in this beautiful world we live in now, we binge watch shows and drink alcohol and have substance abuse and smoke and do whatever it is to numb the feelings, scrolling for hours on end, which sometimes is fine, but a lot of times is why you're doing it. You're trying to distract yourself. You're trying to numb yourself from what? From rejection, from fear, from whatever's currently going on right now. When you numb those feelings, think about when you are in a relationship with somebody and you numb all of the feelings of fear and disconnection, you take away any reason for anything to ever be bad. You don't get to just select and pick and choose which feelings you numb. When you numb the feeling to experience shame and fear and rejection and sadness, you are also numbing the potential for love, joy, and creativity. So when we get caught up in trying to numb and escape our lives and using unhealthy coping mechanisms to do so, we numb the ability to truly experience the love and joy that we are trying to create, which is there's a disconnect, right? That something's got to change, something's got to give. So the feelings that we are numbing, the things that we are escaping, something you have to ask yourself is, what are you escaping from? Something I talked about in my podcast, I think it was the shadow work and sobriety. And I was talking about my first 100 days of being sober. And something I realized when we went out to the bar was I was surrounded by a lot of people, at least that night, that were drinking to escape. They were drinking to escape the stress of their workday. They were drinking to escape their emotional disconnect in their relationship and their unfulfillment with their life or whatever it was. They were escaping to feel something, escaping the feeling of something, which made me really sad. Because why are you building a life that you have to escape from? What are you escaping from? What are you trying to numb the feelings from? So now as you start to sit down and meditate and explore yourself and understand yourself on a deeper level, you have to learn how to get vulnerable with yourself. But for you to truly be vulnerable, you have to feel safe. So ask yourself, do you feel seen by yourself? Or do you ignore yourself and your emotions and your reactions and your wants and your needs? What do you need to feel safe so you can start to connect with yourself and listen to yourself? Because you know that saying that someone can only love you as much as you love yourself? Someone can only connect to you emotionally, energetically, spiritually, on whatever dimension, as much as you can connect with yourself. You have to create those pathways. So when we tap into or start to shift and think about self-worth, I want you to ask, where are you holding your self-worth throughout the day? These can be like questions like, oh, I feel like I haven't gotten anything done. Okay, if I got more done, would I feel like I was worthy that day? Or holding your self-worth and how much you complete and tasks you get done. Things I need you to remember is that daily care tasks, things like laundry, vacuuming, cleaning, dishes, all that stuff, the stuff that is never ending because it's a daily care task that are essential to your survival. Those are things that you put caps on at the end of the day. Don't stress yourself out about those things way too much. Rest is a necessity, not a reward. So if you are feeling more like I can rest once I get all of this done, or I will feel accomplished if I get all of this done. And if you're consistently setting yourself up to fail, you're never going to fully feel accomplished or done or completed. You are the only one who gets to hold your self-worth. So if your self-worth is being held in how well you're doing at your job, how much your boss likes you, how much attention that you're getting from somebody you're dating, if you are holding your self-worth and you feel better and more worthy as a person in those things, that is a problem. You are giving your self-worth and putting it in other people's hands. So you need to learn how to set boundaries. And there's a difference between setting boundaries and controlling behavior. Controlling behavior sounds like if you, let's try that again. Controlling behavior sounds like, I'm not going to let you talk to me that way. I mean, realistically, guys, we can't control anyone else's emotions. We can't control anyone else's behavior. Like, we are not in charge of anyone else's behavior but our own. But we can set a boundary, which is, if you talk to me that way, I'm going to leave. Sets a boundary. You have to start getting vulnerable with yourself and ask these hard questions. You have to create the safety, the space to be safe. So you can allow yourself to be vulnerable as possible and to cope, because coping and healing are different things. And that is something that we are going to get into on the next one. So we'll see you there.